Good day, Mom. I'm Jey-Ann from BPED 1B, and today I will discuss to you the topic that was given to me. Environmental and social issues. Environmental and social issues are defined as harmful effects to the Earth and its natural systems due to the actions by humans. Although climate change can also occur from the natural causes, human behavior has led to an increase in the greenhouse emissions. And we have the hazardous materials. Hazardous materials, also referred to as endangered goods or restricted articles, are described as items, substances, or waste that can pose a significant risk to health, safety, property, or the environment when they exist in specific form and quantity. And we have the common examples of hazardous materials. We have the pool chemicals, muriatic acid, paint thinner, stains, waxes, automotive fluids, gasoline, household cleaning products, laundry, propane, pesticides, herbicides, thermometers, poisons, and the radioactive materials. And to make yourself safer, you should familiarize yourself with each product, the location, and the purpose. And more products are hazardous than you think, and hazardous products must be handled with respect. Always read the labels and follow the directions carefully. And we have danger warning caution. We have the poison. It can injure or kill if absorbed through the skin, ingested, or inhaled. Toxic can cause injury or death if swallowed, inhaled, or absorbed through the skin. Irritant causes soreness or swelling of the skin, eyes, mucous membranes, or respiratory system. And we have the flammable. It easily catches fire and tends to burn rapidly. Flammable liquid has a flash point below 140 Fahrenheit, and combustible liquid has a flash point from 140 Fahrenheit to 200 Fahrenheit. The corrosive is a chemical or its vapor that can cause a material or living tissue to be destroyed. And let's go to the waste. Is a product or substance which is no longer suited for its intended use, whereas its natural ecosystems waste. Example, the oxygen, carbon dioxide, and dead organic material. It is used as a food or reactant. Waste materials resulting from human activities are often highly resilient and take a long time to decompose. Waste based on the risks related to the environment and human health are therefore important in order to provide appropriate and effective waste management. For the producer or holder, assessing whether a material is waste or not is important in identifying whether waste rules should be followed. Definitions are also relevant in the collection and analysis of waste data as well as in domestic and international reporting obligations. And here the origin of waste. We have the mining, agriculture, forestry industry, the household, commercial, and the government bodies, construction, demolition, and the wastewater treatment. So we have the two main waste categories. We have the non-hazardous or the solid waste, and we have the hazardous. Hazardous, it is all waste which has not been classified as a hazardous. We have here the example: the paper, the plastics, glass, metal, and beverages, cans, organic, and etc. While not hazardous, solid waste can have serious environmental and health impact if left uncollected and untreated, while a significant proportion of solid waste could theoretically be reused and recycled. Collection by the type of waste, selective waste collection, requisite for reuse and recycling is one of the biggest waste management challenges. Here the some illustration of non-hazardous or solid waste. So here the hazardous waste. Hazardous waste is a waste that has been identified as potentially causing harm to the environment and human health, and therefore needs special, separate treatment and handling. Chemical and physical characteristics determine the exact collection and recycling processes. Flammability, corrosiveness, toxicity, ecotoxicity, and explosiveness are the main characteristics of hazardous waste. The liquid, gaseous, and the powder waste need special treatment by default to avoid the dispersal of the waste. Generally, separate collection and handling are established to avoid contact with non-hazardous waste. Chemical recovery and recycling. Chemical and treatment, incineration or high temperature treatment, safe storage, recovery and recycling are possible modes of treatment for hazardous waste. Most hazardous waste originates from industrial production. Special kinds of hazardous waste include, we have the e-waste. E-waste is from electric and electronic equipment such as end-of-life computers, phones, and home appliances. E-waste is generally classified as hazardous because it contains toxic components, example the PCB and various metals. So here the example, the cell phones, the computers. So the medical waste, it originates from the human and animal healthcare systems and usually consists of medicines, chemicals, pharmaceuticals, bandages, used medical equipment, bodily fluids, and body parts. Medical waste can be infectious, toxic, or radioactive, or contain bacteria and harmful microorganisms, including those that are drug resistant. So here are the examples. So the radioactive waste, it contains radioactive materials that the management of radioactive waste differs significantly from that of other waste. Auditing the management of radioactive waste is not the subject of this MOOC. So here are the example of the radioactive waste. This is the next. We have the land contamination. It is contaminated land is an area that has been polluted by its past industrial use or by the disposal of waste. Contamination is an inevitable effect of industrialization and of waste generation, as it involves the introduction of materials not naturally present in the environment at a given location. And there are the main causes of land contamination. First, we have the littering. Littering is the improper disposal of waste products. Is unfortunately common. Every cigarette butt toast on the ground or food wrapper toast out of a car window is a small contribution to a monumental issue. According to Keep America Beautiful, 76% of litter found on roadways is from pedestrians and motorists. Not all litter, however, is intentional. A large volume of litter also comes from unsecured items that fall off the back of vehicles or out of trash receptacles. And we have the urbanization and the construction. While urbanization is not in itself littering, with large quantities of people living, producing trash and littering in dense areas thus inevitably lead to land pollution. To accommodate this increased population, construction activities also occur which result in a large waste materials such as metal, plastic, wood, and bricks. When these materials are not properly disposed of, it contributes to the land pollution of the area. And to help reduce the environmental impact of construction sites, it is important to work with partners that offer comprehensive builder solutions to achieve cost-effective construction recycling and waste disposal plans. And we have mining. Mining is extraction of minerals and other geological materials from the ground, which are then used for a wide range of purposes, including but not limited to producing gasoline for automobiles, generating electricity, and selling materials such as gold and silver. This extraction of the methods used, however, deplete the earth of its natural resources and cause damage and pollution its way. That's why finding alternatives for energy, think solar and wind power, that aren't mined from the Earth's surface are so vital in helping to reduce land pollution moving forward. And lastly, we have the agriculture. Agriculture is the foundational for both everyday life as well as the economy as a whole. It also, however, can have profound effects on the planet. Agricultural pollution occurs when contamination created as a byproduct of raising livestock and growing food crops is released into the environment, and the contamination is vast. So, we have the effects of land contamination. It is water that is unsafe to drink, polluted soil, which leads to a loss of fertile land for agriculture, climate change, which causes an onslaught of disastrous problems, including the flash floods and irregular rainfalls, and the endangerment and extinction of species in wildlife, habitat shifting, where some animals are forced to flee where they live in order to survive, an increase in wildfires due to the polluted areas often becoming very dry, increased air pollution, which burning waste contribution to. And to prevent land contamination, we should using the fewer pesticides and chemicals in agriculture. Given that use of pesticides and chemicals in farming and agriculture greatly contribute to land pollution, finding alternatives will help to reduce the environmental impact. Farmers, for instance, can use natural ingredients by switching from biofertilizers to manure. On the individual level, supporting environmentally conscious local farmers at your closest farmers market or local grocery store can help to build up business for farmers with more sustainable farming practices. Another option is to contribute to or volunteer in an urban garden in your neighborhood. And the second is reforestation. Reforestation involves replanting an area with trees. This can be needed for the areas that have experienced wildfires, for instance, or where trees had been chopped down and milled. This process helps to bind the soil, which helps to protect it from land pollution and prevent soil erosion and flooding. And the important is the reduce, reuse, and recycle. At the individual level, there are many things we can do to reduce our contribution to land pollution. One of the simplest ways to do this is to reuse or recycle items so that you aren't creating waste out of a material or item that still have a purpose. With the growing awareness around what can be recycled and an increase in recycle bins in many cities, it has never been easier to recycle. And lastly, we have the biodiversity and natural resources. Biodiversity is all different kinds of life you'll find in one area. That variety of animals, plants, fungi, and even microorganisms like bacteria that make up our natural world. Each of these species and organisms work together in ecosystems like an intricate web to maintain balance and support life. And the biodiversity is essential for the processes that support all life on Earth, including humans. Without a wide range of animals, plants, and microorganisms, we cannot have the healthy ecosystems that we rely on to provide us with the air we breathe and the food we eat. And the people also value nature of itself. Natural resources as those commodities that are considered valuable in their natural form. This means that the primary activities associated with it are extraction and purification, and not creation. For instance, the gardening or farming cannot be considered natural resources activities. Mining or oil extraction can. Natural resources are usually either renewable or non-renewable. The former refer to those resources that can renew themselves in time. These include living resources like forests or non-living ones like wind, water, solar energy. So that was the last part of my topic.